The first one is that we're entering a state of scarcity of a lot of resources. And so as a result, you need to secure as procurement your access to those resources because everybody is fighting for them or competing for them. And on the flip side of that, you also need to find solutions to need less of those resources because as they become scarce, you need to limit your reliance on them.
What's really, really important is the ability to create narrative, understand. So rather than just having a KPI dashboard, or lots of KPI dashboards, it's the narrative behind the KPIs that's really important. And the narrative is not just one-sided. It's this equitable space for your supply chain to come together. The unstructured data layer. Now, 90% of the company data is unstructured. We've got to look at large language models. They focus on unstructured data. That's their playground. So we think that we are going to see a lot more of this unstructured data within a supply chain setting. It's almost a private large language model, private to a supply chain, to a business ecosystem.
It isn't necessarily a trend, but the focus that I'm finding in the market, speaking to suppliers and to buying organisation, is there is a focus on promoting sustainable practices, which then enable fostering innovation and engaging stakeholders to align environmental, social and governance standards.
The other aspect that will shape, in my view, the relationship you will have with your suppliers is that more and more the public opinion becomes aware of incidents and actually pays attention to incidents. And this can have a terrible effect on a company if the public opinion takes offense in something that happens. And what we generally find is very often a supplier is involved. There have been examples in the clothing industry where a building collapsed and that created a well-deserved outrage. Or you will have some problem with food quality or food poisoning. And you can generally always trace that back to supply chain issues. So now companies will have an even more vested interest in making sure that they have the right relationship with the right suppliers to avoid down the chain that the public opinion takes offense in what your company is doing. So I don't know if it's for better or for worse that there could be such a massive outburst in public opinion, but that's a trend you cannot ignore. So overall, it will be good if you have a better management of your relationship with the supplier, and if it can avoid a backlash in the public opinion, well, everybody wins.